live from the Secretariat Room.
That's right.
Here at FanDuel Sportsbook and Horse Racing. Welcome out there, horse racing world. Can we say world? How many hits do we have, Alex?
I don't.
Can we say horse racing world?
Yeah, we can say horse racing.
Horse racing nation.
Nation sounds a little bit more prestigious.
That's a website.
Let's start with you, Alex. A couple of things while you're looking up the hits and the carryovers. We have a new formula, WWW. You want to explain that, Alex? Can we hear you from back there?
It's called What Would Watkins Wear?
Oh, boy.
So I decided to go out and buy a shirt for Tuesday.
Yes, for the Watkins line.
And you can't get them at the clearance rack because you're quite, the snappy dresser. So I did find a shirt that might complement or criticize what you wear. So I thought to myself, what would Watkins wear? And there you go.
Okay.
I think my mom got the memo because she brought me over a shirt last night to do the same.
That's what Scotty said. He goes, I've got a shirt to wear on tomorrow. I said, well, wait a second. And we do want to talk about our wardrobe today.
Yes.
I'm in all black. Scotty's in black. And Jimmy Jr. here, and that is our panel for today, is in a red, white, and blue, which happens to be the race colors of the late Ron Ridgewitz. We saddened to announce the passing of longtime horse owner Ron Ridgewitz. He passed away Wednesday of last week. Ron served many terms on the board here for the HPPA, involved in the horsemen, still stayed involved. Even though he wasn't on the board, I would give him the purse account, and he would look at it and give me his opinion on how we're doing, where we're at. So he contributed until, I'd have give him to you, and you would email him to Jordan, his stepson, and then he'd get him to Ron, and Ron would review them for us. So to the Ridgewitz family, our condolences. So we are wearing black. Not just Ron, too. We've had a tough summer. Scotty, Bill Duncan, our good friend, longtime horseman, passed away. We mentioned and we dedicated a podcast to Green Jeans, Eugene Lewis. Also, Martha Jackson just recently passed away. Very involved in the HBPA, horse owner, breeder. The wife of Harvey Jackson was involved in every way. So we've really had a tough summer, losing a lot of our friends, a lot of our horse racing family here at FanDuel, and we wanted to wear the colors. So Jimmy in the red, white, and blue, Scotty and I in the black, in the honor of Ron and our other three horsemen that we've lost this summer.
And I did
miss them all.
I did want to mention just real quick about Ron. From about the age of 6 to 14, up on the second floor, he I guess dealt with me for
I had him
8 years.
babysitting for us. Send him up to you.
I owe a lot of my interest in handicapping and things like that, and the interest in the horse track to Ron and Rick and the whole crew that sat up there. So I'm just very appreciative, and we're going to miss him. So just wanted to say that.
No question about it. Alex, we're going to go back to you then. Looking forward to seeing what you're wearing tomorrow.
Yes. I thought of you when I was at the rack. So
speaking tomorrow.
I hope I do you proud.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what you got going. Speaking of tomorrow, let me mention the weather. It is on the borderline. We're talking about mid-90s or so. Humidity, Scotty, I know we just looked at it, not terrible, not as bad as it's been. So we're hoping to run, but it is on that, pretty close to the cutoff point.
And
so
we'll
watch.
know so we can post. So
we're going to have that meeting again roughly 8:30, 8:45 in the morning prior to the first administration of LASIX for the first race. And we'll start, I start getting on the phone. We announce it to the backside. I think I call you, Alex, and we get on there and put a text out to all the horsemen. And I know you get it out on social media here. So we'll get the word out thoroughly and quickly. Should we cancel? If not, plan on showing up and find a cool spot. There are some here in the shade by the fans inside, and enjoy the horse racing tomorrow should we race, which I think we will. Alex, let's hear about the hits in the carryover.
Okay, so right now your hits are about 139 from last week.
Is that for today already?
No, that's not today.
Oh, so good.
Nobody has commented yet, but the comments are open. So if you're watching the live stream, you can comment, and then I'll try to stop them if we see anybody interesting. So far, no comments, so maybe nobody's watching. I'm going to log on my phone.
If they have no comment, I'm going to have no comment.
If we recall, the first time that we went live, I believe me and my brother-in-law Donnie were about at 90% of the comments, other than Logan.
And that's appreciated.
So now that I'm here, there may not be as many comments.
We hope the hits just keep on coming.
The pick 7 for tomorrow, $41,972.
And once again, you got to remember, it has to be a single winner,
That's
or
correct.
there's a small payout, and the carryover continues.
Yes, 41,972.
It's worth investing a little bit in it to try and it's a 20-cent bet. Is that correct?
I think so.
Yeah, and I will not be giving out my pick 7 pick because I plan on playing one myself. So I'm going to try to be the sole winner. I'm greedy. I'm greedy this week, guys. Greedy.
You know, 41,000. That'd be a little lifestyle change here, huh? I think 41,000 extra dinner here or there. Buy some flashy clothes, Alex. you
Yeah,
know?
I can let on my What Would Watkins Wear wardrobe.
There you go. We mentioned one sponsor there. We only made mention of the HBPA too, our other sponsors. So FanDuel Sportsbook and Horse Racing. Melissa Helton loans us Alex to come in here for the taping, and Alex, we greatly appreciate the interaction, the banter, and the production that you have. The Illinois HBPA, Horsemen Helping Horsemen, and of course Taco Bell, locally owned, John Maroney, here on the east side, Columbia, Waterloo, and right down the road in Troy.
And Jimmy Jr. got his first compliment from Heather Iron. It says, "You're the best handicapper in her opinion."
Yeah, love to hear that.
Yeah.
I try my best. Not all the time does it work out, though. So.
Well, rough, good crowd as far as Jimmy Jr. is concerned. Rough crowd as far as Scotty and I. And I have to admit, I really sucked the last couple weeks. I had 2 of Armando's winners 2 weeks ago, and I think last week I had just a winner or 2. It wasn't any great shakes, and this card, I just felt it pretty tough also.
There's a lot
So,
of
Heather, we
races,
appreciate you watching and interacting.
Absolutely.
Well, let's go with the standings. Scotty, you and Ralph Martinez are knotted up here at 28. He won't go away. He's like one of these gnats out here. We're sitting outside. You're swatting at him, but he's pecking away, you know? You guys do, I mean, obviously it's going to be you two and slugging it out. You usually wear him down towards the end, but you did notice he wasn't reloaded and picked up 3, claimed 3 yesterday alone at Hawthorne. So he might be going after you and going after this title here, Scotty. Trainer beware is all I can say. Gerald Butler remains hot with 12. Don't look now, but here comes Harry Lynch. Harry's up to 12 wins, and Watkins has 11. And I did notice Eddie won one Saturday. When Eddie, you got to be careful. When Eddie puts a win or 2 together, then he gets hot too. And of course, we're waiting on our buddy Manley to heat up, and he's scratching his head now, but he'll turn it around, no doubt about it. And on the jockey side, Ben Dazu still has a 7-win lead on Travis, but he's gonna be laid up for a while. When you're an athlete like that, when he's in a cast, he had the surgery a few weeks ago, and the rehabilitation, it's not just normal. You and I, Scotty and Jimmy, we get out of a cast or, a beer drinking hand to be in great shape. But when you're a jockey, there's a little more to it, and there's a fitness level that you have, and then you have to have that strength back. So, his recovery time's going to be a while, don't you think,
Probably
Scotty?
the rest of August, I would think.
Yeah.
According to
Yep.
him. I believe he gets the cast off next week.
But he's a positive kid. He'll have a positive attitude. He'll work hard, and so he'll come back. I would guess sooner or later. But by that time, I would assume Travis and probably Arietta blow by him. Travis Wales has 30 wins. We're near Arietta, last year's leading rider, with 27. Santiago's quietly had a pretty solid meet, 25 wins. He might, he hits a little hot streak. All of a sudden, Jimbo, he's in the top spot. The Magic won with 19, and Corey Orm won 2 Saturday, and he's up to 18 wins. So Corey's heating up a little bit. And I wanted to make mention of the 2 wins he had. I've had some questions. Hey, who is this Anthony Blee? Well, Tony Blee, and I met him earlier this year. He came in with 1 horse. They claimed it off of him. So he claimed 2 and won back with both of them right away. He's a really nice guy. He was running in New Mexico. I understand he was at a loss for words today when I interviewed him a little bit. He was kind of elusive, can't we say? But I understand he lost his wife not too long ago. He was in New Mexico and racing a little bit there. I mean, he's raced for years. He did have 100 starts a year for a few years. He's down to just a few now. But he moved into this area, lives on the Missouri side to be close to his daughter and the grandkids, I understand. So he's a really nice guy. We were happy to see him win a couple on Saturday night. And the other one that I got, who's this guy, is Adamar Santos. Did you research him, Jimmy?
Well, I know he's riding in Chicago. I don't know exactly where he's came from.
He came from Florida. He has about 742 wins, but I'm not sure if that includes this weekend and anything he did up at Chicago here Saturday night. So, over 700 wins. He's been at it
I
for
believe he's
20 years.
more of a veteran rider.
Yeah, veteran rider. I mean, not a top shelf guy, but he's been on the tough circuit down there in Florida.
I believe I rode him on a horse or two in 2018 or 19 when I was stabled down there. So,
But it seems to be the Illinois circuit's really doing well for him. I think he had 3 wins over the weekend in Chicago. It looks like he's on 6 of them.
And won
tomorrow.
He won his first race here.
Mm-hmm.
Was that Tuesday?
Yeah, I believe it was last week or the week before. But yeah.
Well, at least somebody's winning because Watkins I had 2 wins the last 2 out of 7, and it seems like it's only chalk.
You got to enter him.
join the crowd.
No, I'm talking about handicapping, not trainer wise. I'm talking about handicapping. I've been getting my butt kicked. I've been getting it handed to me. Let's see what today holds, though. We got race 1. It's a 2-year-old race. Down here. Now we did have an Illinois bred restricted go, Scotty, for this race here. But it's a mixture of the boys and the girls, which we get a lot. Now Chicago's had a good number of 2-year-olds. They've been separating a little bit. Then you get down to Kentucky, then you got boys against boys, girls against girls. So let me start on my left with Scotty Becker, tied for the top spot in the trainer standings. Nipping at his heels is Ralph Martinez. And let's see if he can handicap too. Heather, give us another chance, is all I can say. Okay, Scott.
Well, I went with the 3 on top, Coley, cold front horse. I figured to maybe breed a little speed into this horse. Rainier's riding it. He's been riding some down there. I don't know if he has a choice between these two, between that and the 1. So I just went on a whim and picked the 3, Coley on top. I went with the 1, the other Wainwright entry for second try. I know the Princess Dubai filly had produced a few speed horses out of there. And then for third, I went with Something to Believe in. Patty McCary, Robert Pompel.
And you know a little bit about the breeding on that horse, don't you? Something to Believe in?
Yeah, I used to have the stallion well positioned and the mare Magic Chapel. Magic Chapel is a nice mare, very nice mare. They've had a winner out of that mare. I don't know if this horse by well position I have that kind of speed. Tentatively, they do it too, and older they kind of want to run longer. So we'll see what happens.
And well position's an awesome against stallion that you had for a while that you sent over to Patty.
Correct.
And now she's got some of those young ones running out of that Chapel Royale mare, Magic Chapel, and that's a pretty nice mare. Clyde's Green Go.
Clyde's Green Go and Gallups Magic, both of those halves out of Gallup. So
they're all winners. So.
Yeah. So pretty serviceable horses. 4.5 furlongs, obviously first time out. A lot of variables we don't know. Certainly, I'm looking forward to seeing this cold front horse, the 3 Coley, because every cold front horse I've seen is a big, beautiful horse. And whether this one is or not, we'll see in the paddock. But certainly looking forward to it. Jimmy, who'd you go with here in race 1?
I'm 4-3-6, so I have something to believe in the top spot. Like you mentioned, a half to Clyde's Green Go, half to Gallups Magic. Just a little bit of concern there is the well positioned instead of Gallup on top with their potentially showing speed going 4.5. So that's the one concern. But I do think with the breeding and showing that the half siblings have shown plenty of ability in the races, that's where I'm going to go with this first time starter with Patty McCary and Robert Pompel. I did go to Coley in second, and like we mentioned, the Cole Front and then Lily Luna, the mare. There's been plenty of John Wainwright horses produced by this mare, Lillette, Temp Luna, Truist, Lucian. So there's a lot of horses that we know, and then also has 2 halves prior, I believe, to him obtaining that mare that both made over 90,000. So there's a lot of ability from that mare. I think this horse should be right there. The one concern, looking back on those halves that John's had, is some of them have not shown a ton of speed in the races, but getting the Cole Front of the breeding here potentially could put a little more speed in this filly tomorrow. And then I went to the 6, Dream Gold, for third. Out of the two horses in this race that we've seen run, I think this horse showed a little bit more of a step slow in that first start. I think if this horse breaks a little bit better, looking with the 4 other first-time starters, I think could pick up the pieces there for third, and with Ademar Santos.
And the hot new riders we talked about. Yeah, certainly that horse is out of a Candy Ride. Your 6 horse, I'll start with that one. Out of a Candy Ride mare who lost all chance at the start away solely going 4.5 furlongs. The other one that started here, Harry Lynch's horse, Harley's Runaway Kid. Scotty pointed out first time gelding. Maybe that'll add to his focus and stuff. But I looked to the top 4 who hadn't run. I went 3-1-4, the same as Scotty. John Wainwright, Doc Morgan, and Sharon, they breed to nice mid-level type stallions in Kentucky. Bring them over here. Their mares have had pretty good success. So I went 3-1 on top, the cold front on top. They are fillies against a couple of boys. And then I threw that something to believe in here, the well-positioned, half to Clyde's Green Go. So this horse could have some ability. No jumping off the paper at us in workouts. Usually Patty and Doc Morgan's horses, John Wainwright's horses need a start. They usually use that first start for a little experience. So no real angle there. 3-1-4 for me, 3-1-4 for Scotty, 4-3-6 for Jimmy
And
Jr.
I think the one workout that did jump off the page was that July 27th for the 4,
Yeah.
the 36-3. If you look back on all the 3 furlong workouts to anybody else in the field, there's nothing that really matches that. So.
Yeah, good zip as a final prep for that. Yep.
All right, we got 2 viewer comments. First comes from Eric Cleveland. Jimmy, it's tough to lose First Hill, but nice plating price that you got for him.
Yeah, and you know what? You have to run them where they can win. And First Hill, thank you very much, Eric, by the way. We picked her up over at Turfway over the winter for $15,000. We lost her for $50,000, and along the way we won 5 in a row and got DQ'd out of the first win. And she did come back again. That's a great angle, Scotty. Claim off Watkins and run it back, and they win. She did win on.
She did bulldoze her way through that DQ. So it
was a valid takedown argument here. So yeah, she really did well. Nice mare. I mean, out of a mare a stakes-winning mare. We looked at that, and we just hoped that she fit into our program, and we corrected a couple of things that helped her along a little bit, and we did
if I
really
recall,
well.
you did just claim a half.
We claimed a full brother to her for
okay.
$10,000 a week ago. Yesterday down at Ellis, and the horse went out 37-1. He'd been beaten 93 lengths his last 3 races, and not only did we claim him, I bet him. It was a nice little wager.
Ran second, right?
Yeah, he ran second at 37-1, $31 place price, and I had half the exacta, which was the $270 for $1. So it was a nice hit through the windows. And I think a nice claim. He ran a real big second, and he's a real nice horse. I like him. So we did claim a full brother, Redfield, one word, full brother to First Hill. So we're going to try and replicate what we did with First Hill.
Yep, next comment comes from Ross. Why wasn't Alex in the dunk tank last Saturday?
Well, he didn't sign up quickly enough, is what I understand. It was a pretty, you had to, it was like waiting for playoff tickets in the Cardinals. You got to get in line there. And those people, I heard they camped out overnight. Corey and Uriel and Sharita and Lizzie and Melody and all the folks that were in there camped out overnight to get the tickets to be in there. Well, we're going to do it next year, Alex. You and me, we're going to camp out, and we're going to get in that donkey booth next
We'll have
year.
our Watkins wear on, maybe,
Yeah, the Watkins wear. What would Watkins wear?
Yep.
Thank you.
And Carrie is back. You're very
Carrie, the long-time listener, second-time caller.
Yeah, Carrie is
All
also
right.
tuned in. Just hello.
Carrie, welcome. Thank you. Hi, Carrie. Yeah, I sure missed that the first time we were live. Long-time listener, first-time caller, Carrie.
You've been waiting your lifetime to see
Without
that.
question. All right, second race, a maiden race again. This one for 3-year-olds and upward. It's on the bottom, 4,000. There's some somewhat talented horses there. I'm going to start to my right this time with Jimmy Watkins Jr. And see who he went with here in this maiden 4,000 for the fillies. Short field, 7-horse field.
Yeah.
And
So I have 6-3-1. I went with Scotty's horse on top, and I'd be remiss to not tell the public that the WW Last Hurrah with the first race obviously didn't show a ton going long, but the bloodline does show that there could be potential there, as this horse is a half to Jesus' team. If you're familiar with Jesus' team, ran second in the Pegasus World Cup to Knicks Go, second in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile to Knicks Go, as well as a 3rd place in the Preakness, 4th place in the Haskell. So,
and I might add, Scotty knew that, by the way. So we're not educating Scotty on that.
1.1 million on it.
yeah. So obviously there's bloodlines there, potential. Throw the first race out, going long. We'll see coming back here, dropping into the $4,000 tag, see if that helps and benefits with this bunch. That I'm struggling to find a ton here, but I did like the 3 for second, Spirit Smoke. I think out of the ones that have shown potential on this track with a 2nd and the 3rd since it showed up from Oklahoma, I think Travis Wells, Mike Durham, I think this horse on paper sits to be the best in the race. And then I went to the 1 and 3rd, Ricky's Part, Don Martin, Kim Sampson. I thought with that maiden special weight 5th by 7 did show a little bit of life. That's her best speed figure out of 4 starts. And now you're dropping down to the $4,000 tag. I think you're going to see this horse pick up a little bit more of the pieces this time.
And that top horse is by Brody's Cause. So you went 6-3-1, and you talked a lot about breeding there, Brody's Cause. You know, well-bred horses here, a race day, Spirit Smoke, a Klimt. You love the Klimt horses. Scotty, that and what is it? Cantharos is the other stallion you kind of like down there in Florida.
Cantharos.
Cantharos.
Yeah, Cantharos.
Okay. All right. So Jimmy went 6-3-1. Spirit Smoke's a good-looking little rascal though, about less than 15 hands, I think. I looked at her the other night. I know she's running back pretty quickly for Mike. Scotty, what'd you go with here?
Well, I went on top with a 3, Spirit Smoke. It's run 2 decent races, enough to compete in this field. I put my horse at second. You guys touched this on a couple weeks ago, looking for his friends. I think this is going to be a more friendly race for this horse. So I picked it second. And third, I went with Dawn, dropping one down a little, probably looking for the same type of friends in this race. It'll be a little more competitive than where it's been running kind of even, just beyond mid-pack in the fields. Steadied a little bit, stumbled badly at the start, awkward start. Maybe if it gets away a little bit, it can hit the board here. So I went 3-6-1.
And you know, I went 2-3-6, and it was more of a gut thing. Sir Lawrence shows a lot of speed in the horses he breeds. That's a Southern Illinois. Dr. Winchus has that stallion down there. Max does a good job with it. I just have a feeling this horse had decent works, you know, a 49, a 50, a 37. I said, boy, this horse is going to have a little gas. And if she gets the lead against this bunch, she may just run away from him. I'm taking a shot, a flyer, with I think what's going to be a decent odd first-time starter. Decent odds. We know the rest of them are good enough to get beat, right, Scotty, Jimmy? And go ahead.
And Highland Girl does have a half Gila that's been running up in Chicago, 93,000, that has shown speed. So, I mean, there is potential there on paper with a half sibling there that definitely has shown it yet.
So I went 2-3-6 through Scotty in third. The Spirit Smoke was running back quickly after second and third, running close. But I took a shot with the first-time starter, and Max is placing him. He's not getting too high. But I just thought first-time starter here with some decent workouts, some speed in the bloodlines a little bit. I took a shot. All right, let's move along to the third race. And Scotty, you've got a couple in here, so we're going to start with you. This is the non-winners of 3 restricted Illinois breds for the fillies. Pretty tough race. I'm looking at running in this the next time around with my little horse Too Much Tuesday, but this is a pretty tough little bunch, Scotty. Who'd you go with?
I think they're all single-digit odd competitors here. So on top, I went with Vance's horse, Reba Attack. It's really done nothing wrong all year running. I mean, in here it was sloppy track last time, but I don't think it should play in effect with running on a good track this time out. So, and the numbers I handicapped in, it shows it's on top. I went with my horse, the 5, Big Sally, in second. She's been off a little bit, been looking to get in. I ran a couple other horses in this condition in time or so. So this is her turnaround. So she's doing well. I think she can hit the board. And in third, I went with the 2, Love You Like Crazy. I had a little problem not picking this one first or second. I mean, it's done nothing wrong really. The last race here was running at Fairgrounds once. FanDuel in the same condition last year was pretty consistent. A hell of a race last time. One of my horses, Golly Posse, just outrun her. So I got 7-5-2.
7-5. Boy, I agree with you, Scotty. If any horse won this race, it wouldn't really be a shock.
No, you're looking at odds from probably 2-1 to 9-1 in here.
Yep.
Okay. Jim Bro?
I'm in the same idea. I'm 7-1-2, so I have Scotty's other horse in second, surrounded by the 7 and the 2. Same thing with Reba Attack. Hasn't done anything wrong this year. Vassari's Image, who he just beat by 2 1/4, just came back and won on Saturday night. I think this is a horse that doesn't need to be right there on the lead, probably sits 3 or 4 off of it. And if you look, the 5, Big Sally, and the 6, Tense, and then potentially the 2, Love You Like Crazy, and the 4, Betty's Secret, could be on that pace. So there could be 3 or 4 horses going after that lead, with the 7 sitting about 3 or 4 off of it right there and making a run towards the end. So that's why I have Reba Attack on top. I did go Wildwood Triple out of Scotty's barn second. That last race didn't show a ton, but since then prior with with a first, too much Tuesday, and then also a third place there. I think just looking back, I think this horse consistently could be another one that's going to sit off that contested pace and make a move up there towards the end. Uriel, getting him, he tends to do well on horses that come from off the pace too. So that's something to look at. And then I did go third, Love You Like Crazy, Elias Lopez. Usually when he brings one down here, it's ready to go. He is 1 for 9 on the year wins. I think he got a second win Saturday.
Ran second.
Second.
Ran
Okay,
second Saturday with
but
the 8 horse. Yeah.
but
Came in 5-8.
usually when he brings one down, they're going to be tough. So I have this one in the third slot there. Like we said, hasn't done a whole lot wrong since it's been down here.
And you're talking about bringing him down. I just talked to Elias, shortly before the podcast, and he has some concerns whether he has 2 in today, whether he's going to make the trip or not. I did tell him that we wouldn't be making a decision. He'd be on the road already, and we would probably be here by that time. And so there's a chance he might scratch. I'm not saying he will, but he's weighing his options there on whether to come down. Of course, the trainers can scratch out penalty free, because of the hot weather, and there's a chance he may just pull out. Anyway, I put him on top, and then like I said, this is a wide open race. I went with Scotty second, big, solid, good speed horse. These horses are right there every time they run at Fairmont, and I did put Vance Childers with Reba Attack, and here's a Forest Attack that didn't like the turf, prefers the dirt, huh? How about them apples?
Doesn't happen very often.
So yeah, so Big Watkins went 257. Scotty, you went
752.
752, and Jim
712. 712 his other horses. So.
All right, it's a good time to mention our sponsors again: FanDuel Sportsbook and Horse Racing. Here we are live from the Secretariat Room, the Illinois HBPA, and also locally owned, John Maroney owned, Taco Bell's, Columbia, Waterloo, and Troy. Hey, last Tuesday was a neat day, Alex. What about that? So Jareth Osborne, a 12-year-old boy, he has autism, but not real verbal. We got him to say he wanted to be a jockey, but what a great day. He was able to experience the horses, went into the jocks room. I know all the jockeys were nice and kind to him. Uriel Lopez, who has 6 kids of his own, Corey Orm, they suited him up, put him in silks and boots and a riding helmet. And, they all paid attention to him, made it a special day for Jareth Osborne. And then I was able to call Jareth Loveberry. They share the same first name, which is a pretty uncommon name, Jareth. Jareth Loveberry rode 2 fills to a second place finish in the 2023 Kentucky Derby. And he sent a care package down with autographed cups and pictures and shirts and an autographed whip that he used in the Kentucky Derby last year for Jareth. Spoke to him on the phone. Fox 2 did a great little spot on it and coverage, gave us some coverage there. What a great day. It was touching. And we're going to stay in touch with Jareth. We're going to do more programs down here in the summertime for all students, students, all kids, and try and get them involved and interested in the great program we have here, horse racing, and the great animals, horses. So pretty neat. All right, race 4. Jareth Osborne. Nice kid. Race 4, what a tough race this is with a boatload of speed. A tough race. Jim Bro, we're going to start with you.
Okay.
Race 4. It's a 2 other than optional, non-winners of 4 races, or a $10,000 tag. Tapacita, who won last time, is in for the tag, and that's it. The 2-horse Tapacita is in for the tag. So Jimmy Jr., Jim Bro, where'd you land here?
I am 5-4-1. I have Scotty's horse on top. Dixie Penny, I think, was just missed the last time out, and I've kind of been on this horse the past few tries, going back to that Oaklawn record and everything earlier this year. I just think with a few horses, especially the 2 out of Kenny's barn, that are going to show speed. And like we mentioned, I think all these horses are going to be right there, but I think this one can sit right off of them and get by them. So I have the 5 on top. I did go to Long Tall Woman, Armando Hernandez second. You got to have him in the top 3. This horse has been in the top 3 the last 10 starts, and Armando has 5 wins, 1/3, and 7 starts down here. So you got to have the 4 in play if you're going to do anything in this race. I just think if you're looking back on the races up in Chicago and a few of them down here, just a little bit tougher horses the other ones have been running against compared to Long Tall Women. So that's why I went 5 on top of the 4. And then I did go to the 1, Jamie's horse, Awesome Birdie. for third. I'm just a little concerned with both Kenny's horses needing the lead, I think it looks on paper. I think the one is more likely to be able to sit off of him versus Lachita. But I think both of them are going to go out. I think the 4 and the 5 just might run him down. So
Yeah.
I'm 4 or 5, 4, 1.
5, 4, 1 for you.
5-4.
Yeah, hopefully Kenny's 2 horse. I had it happen one time though, where both of my riders went out and I'm out there 3 or 4 lengths in front, head bobbing for the lead. So hopefully that doesn't happen to the Kenny Jansen runners there. But they do look like they're both want the lead type horses. So you went 5, 4, 1, Scotty.
I got Dixie Penny on top. I like the post to the outside today. She ran well last time. Was in a little tight a little bit. The race before, she blew a hind shoe in that, and I think that compromised her a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the page with the 1 and the 6 with the speed, but maybe the 6 coming back in 7 days doesn't show as much. Might be a little flatter.
Mm-hmm.
So I went with the 5 on top, and I put Awesome Birdie for second.
Mm-hmm.
And I just threw a long, tall woman for third, coming off a long layoff. And maybe they're just looking to get an easier race coming back. I mean, they got plenty of works and 3/4 mile in there. And I just went with the 2 local horses, threw the 4 in there for third, long, tall one.
You went 5, 1, 4. You know what? It wouldn't surprise me if any of those 3 horses won. I went 4, 5, 1. So I shuffled them a little bit. Until Armando Hernandez gets beat down here, I just pick him. It's not a real handicapping thing. Of course, Scotty Becker, look at him, 28 out of 109. So I picked Scotty second, 4, 5. Awesome Birdie, lightly raced, 5-year-old, only 15 starts. But look at the form on this horse. All she does is win or hit the board.
There's
the
a
board
chance that if you see maybe Lachita scratches out, Awesome Birdie
That changes the complexion
could
of the
have a
race.
lead, and that would probably sway my opinion quite a bit.
So we juggled around a little bit.
Mhm.
So I went 4, 5, 1. Jim Bro goes 5, 4, 1, and you went 5, 1, 4. So we think those are the top 3. And if Lachita doesn't answer the bell coming back in a quick turnaround in a week, that changes the complexion of the race, and you might want to look at putting Awesome Birdie on top. All right. Swinging right over to the 5th race. The 5th race is an optional claiming for Illinois breds. One of those nice persons again, 23-5. Non-winners of 2 races, or non-winners of 2 races, you can be in for the 10,000 tag. This is for the boys. A 7-horse field. Looks like a nice balanced bunch. Scotty, who'd you go with here in race 5?
I went with the 6 Diamond on Ice. Last time out, I thought it ran a very well race. Actually, I had a filly in there to run second, Maddie Circle, that I like. That's a have to go, Maddie, go.
Mm-hmm.
She is in this Saturday night. She will be very live. The 3rd horse, Hand Over My Heart, we know just
Came back and won. Yeah.
The race before, it had finished second in front of Hand Over My Heart. So I got the 6 on top, and then I went with the 5 Stance for second. I think it'll be right there. I mean, he's coming out of very good races too with horses. This was a difficult race for me, really, to pick a top 3 in. So I'm kind of swinging for the fences here on a few. And then I went with Run the Table for third. Steve Fridley, got Victor Balon back on the horse. I mean, it's run third to Strobe and Span. Their Span is in here, and he's got the rail and showed speed that we've never seen last time out. And I had a hard time leaving that horse out, but for some reason I did. You got to leave somebody out, and I left him out today. So I went 6-5-4.
6-5-4. Jim Bro?
So I am around there. I have the 5 Stance on top. We mentioned the 3 starts prior to going to Chicago, 2 seconds and a big win, breaking the maiden. Ran a good second last time here to Dennis's Pride, who had a pretty easy lead that time. So that kind of benefited, and Stance, closed a little bit of ground on him too. So this is probably going to be my best bet of the day, Stance, because going up that Hawthorne 3rd by 10 doesn't necessarily look great.
A couple tough ones.
But Joe the Taylor and Verrazano in the Sky are very tough horses. So that 3rd by 10 is actually a pretty solid race. I did go to the 6 Diamond on Ice for second. This horse in the last 3 starts has looked very good, just missed a few times closing up, and then finally gets to the winner's circle last time. And as you mentioned, you like yours coming back, Scotty, and the other horses already had a win coming back next start. So I think that is actually probably my best bet of the day is the 5-6 Exacta box. going there. And then I went to the 7 Lake Blacksmith for third. Probably going to have to be on the lead. The 5 does show some speed, and you mentioned the 1 Span also could be up there towards the lead, but I think this horse might be able to get out in front of the rest of them and hold on for a piece of it and hold on for third. So I'm 5, 6, 7.
Very good, tough race. I'm wondering if I should look. I left the 6 horse out, Diamond on Ice, but boy, Uriel's really taken to this horse. There's a rider that fits a horse, and that was a bang up race. But I left him out completely. I went with Stance, the 5 horse on top. Boy, was running very well. Broke its maiden in fine fashion by 7 1/4. Comes back, runs a big second behind my horse, Dennis's Pride. And then they take, Wainwright takes the horse, puts him on the trailer, takes him up, and tries him against those tough pardon my language, tough horses. And
You're lying.
yeah, oh, sorry about that. Those tough darn horses up there in Chicago, and he ran a bang-up race, third by 10. Is no disgrace against those horses. So I went 5. I put Run to Table second. This horse is spelling, spelling out that it's going to run a big race, 2/3, second and third start off the layoff. Steve Fredley's had a big year. I threw the 4 in second. Tap in your blue jeans. Scotty Becker third. Horse, you tried a route which was open. Now you're going back to state breds, shortening up. I think you'll be right there. Come in charging late. Maybe run by all of them, Scotty. So I went 5.
To run short. No route race here, so
yeah, hard to get the route races to go. See what happens though. So I went 5, 4, 3. Obviously, Stance is.
I failed to mention one thing about the 6 that I just kind of noticing here is the first 2 of the first 3 starts, it showed speed and backed up with Manny Giles. When they put this horse in for state bred, they went to Uriel Lopez, and you could see the horse actually came off the pace those 3 starts, and that's where the results have improved. So I think this horse, you could see that there's 2 or 3 horses that could be on the lead if this one sits off it again. It's showing that it could close pretty well. So.
And that's the veteran journeyman Uriel Lopez. He's good at gathering him up at the start, getting him to settle and relax, and making that late one run with him. So, hey, any comments from anybody?
We haven't. It's funny you mentioned that. Heather would like to know who is the long shot play of the day.
Well, I think the first time starter for me, Highland Girl, coming in. That was in race. What was that? Race 4 or 3? Well, race 2. I'm wrong again. Race 2, Highland Girl. The first time starter is kind of my long shot. Is she saying we're picking all the chalks?
No, she just said who is the long shot play of the day.
Yeah, I like that first time starter kind of in the second race, and they're against obviously some horses that have hit the board and shown some life. So that was my long shot play of the day.
I don't have anything over. I think Diamond on Ice might be the one that's 4 or 5 to 1 at 6 to 1 morning.
Yeah,
it's got a decent. It's got a decent
Stance is
shot.
going to be even money 5 to 2 probably or less.
So if you're looking for a lot, you guys are looking at Diamond. A lot of angles to like Diamond on Ice at probably 5, 6, 7 to 1.
And if you're trying for a price like we mentioned in that second race, the Free Spirit Smoke and then Scotty's horse the 6, I think the one dropping in class you could get a 6 or 7 to 1 price on Don Martin's horse Ricky's Park. So that's where I'm at.
Back in the day when I was really handicapping and betting every race, what I'd always look at was there a false favorite. I think that always brings value to every other horse in the race. So if I saw in my handicapping what I thought was a false favorite, a horse that was going to be bet down big, that was taking a suspicious drop, or for some other reason I didn't like the horse in that role of favoritism role, then you look at every other horse in the race and you're automatically getting value if you identify a false favorite. So that's what I try to do to get value.
And I think you're going to see this in race 6, race 7, partially in race 5, but in race 3 and 4 too, that there's 3 or 4 horses. There's not really a true favorite in those races, so you're going to get good prices on all of them. There's not going to be, there may be one that gets bet down a little bit more, but there should be 3 or 4 prices to take a look at that's 3, 4 to 1, 9 to 2, something along those lines that there might be value all day tomorrow. So
that's without a real pure, break the bank, which we did have a few weeks ago. We had 2 monster payoffs the same night. That was that might have been last Tuesday when it rained during training while the track was open. I thought it played a little different that day. We had 2 long shots. Might have been on a Tuesday a couple of weeks ago. Sounds like Heather's trying to pay her grain bill tomorrow, huh? Thank you, Heather, for chiming in. We appreciate it. All right, race 6. There's a route race, but it's for 2 other than. and are, non-winners of 4 races are an optional tag of 10,000, a 7-horse field, some nice old horses in here, and a real hot horse. I'll go with my picks first. That Creepy Orange just keeps getting better. It's 3 in a row. Arietta goes to Giles, comes back with Arietta, 3 in a row for Clay Locks, who doesn't run many. But this horse is sure running through the wind for him, and lays back a little bit and just runs by him when he wants to. So I put that Candy Ride, well-bred son of a Candy Ride, out of a Malibu Moon mare. I went with Creepy Orange. Looks awful tough to beat in this spot. Nola Bar, Manley's horse, also a Candy Ride, Distorted Humor, well-bred, who's been running close. He ran a third over at Churchill for 25, brought him back in here, and he just got beat by Stallone, who came with the rail that race that day. And I picked him second. And Gold Smoke, Eddie Esser Price, started to heat up. This horse has been running close in the spot 2/3 and now stretches out. And didn't run real well at a mile this year, but did win its 2 life race going a mile last year. So can go to 2 turns. So I went 3-7-5. Scotty?
I took the 7, Steve Manley, no arbor on top. I'm gonna give him another shot. Stallone's not a bad horse. He stole that race from him last time, but Stallone had been running here against all the
best
top horses
ones, yeah.
all the time.
Finally got a little bit of relief.
Little relief there, and I'm gonna give this horse a shot. I don't like the 7-hole really going a mile, but he's got the best speed in here. Probably the 2 have probably sent a little bit to get up there in contention. And then I went with Creepy Orange for second because obviously the last 3 races the horse has done nothing wrong at all. He's run what in this program an 86 speed rating here, no over an 88 on the sheets, a 13 and 12 actually ran a better number than No Arbor last time.
Yeah.
And if you're talking about a long shot of the day, if you call a long shot, I went with Gold Smoke for third. It's been showing a lot of improvement. I don't know what happened to the route race 3 back. It was his worst race, and we're going a mile day, but it had won at last year going a mile here. So I'm going to give it another shot, and that's kind of my long shot of the day.
Yeah,
You went 7-3-5, Jimmy.
I think Gold Smoke, that's one that potentially you could see a double digit there, maybe 10-12 to 1. Due to you have Fernando Bajina's horse coming in, you have the 7 that's probably going to get some play, and then the
Certainly
3.
horse is bred to go around.
Yeah.
We're worried about its route ability.
Yeah.
But by mine shaft,
Well, he's got to win in 2023 going a mile. So I mean, numbers of 2 live going a mile. So that beat Arrow Strike
Yeah.
and a few other Path of Success, a few other good horses in that race last year. I'm 7-3-2. I went with Noel Arbor on top. As we mentioned, Stallone getting that class relief last time. I think had that closing kick going a mile.
I had a gravy trip too. If I'm remembering the race right, slid, kind of was in the pocket there, slid through on the rail. Next thing you know, he's in front by a couple. So
Yeah.
kind of or slid through and it was on the lead. So it kind of got a gravy trip.
Yeah, so I'm looking at.
Rainier that day, was it Stallone? Rainier?
Sounds right.
Yeah, that sounds.
Heather, check that for us. Rick.
So, Noel Arbor, I think Scotty, you mentioned the outside post. I think Corey's going to have to send this horse. And I don't see a ton of other speed besides maybe the 2 going with him. So I think the 7 should be able to get over, get in front, and have a lead down the backstretch. And I think there's back class enough to show this horse going to hang on and win against this group. I did go Crepe Yarns, the 3 to run second. Like we said, going to have a little bit of a closing kick. It's 1-3 in a row, so you can't really go wrong. Can't find anything wrong with this horse. And then I went to the 2 paint by letters third. Fernando Bajina has 2 horses in this race. This is the one I'm favoring a little bit. Just seems to be a little more consistent. And I think maybe the horse sitting second towards that pace battle, and I think shouldn't have any reason to back up because I don't think they're going to go in too fast of fractions.
What a good race too. I mean, you got the 7. It looks to be maybe the horse to beat. It's going to get a good enough trip coming from the outside. Can Gold Smoke get the mile? How good is Creepy Orange going to end up getting? There's a lot of angles here, a lot of interesting things to watch in race 6.
And the four's running in those starters down at Oakland in the optional 50 in Chicago. So
Yeah,
it's been running
we're
against
keeping
much
some
tougher,
good company and another well-bred Verrazano out of a Broken Bow mare there too. So, all right. Hey, the last race. So we better hit our sponsors: FanDuel Sportsbook and Horse Racing, the Illinois HBPA, and also Taco Bell. Soft tacos at Taco Bell. Troy, Columbia, and Waterloo. Thank you, John Maroney. Thank you, Melissa Helton and FanDuel Sportsbook and Horse Racing, and Alex Bodo. What would Watkins wear? Maybe we can get Heather to brighten up that wardrobe a little bit. Come in with a little Hawaiian look tomorrow.
Yeah.
Heather, what about the Hawaiian look, huh?
Yeah, a little
Or put Renier in a
Miami
Hawaiian
flavor.
shirt for chance, huh?
I mean, she needs a little of that Miami flavor.
Yeah, well, she's down in Florida all winter. She ought to be able to find a Hawaiian shirt or something down there. Anyway. Hey, the seventh race. Seventh race is the non-winners of the year are 4 life, bottom level, 3,200 fillies. So they've either not won this year or they've won this year, and but they haven't won 4 lifetime. A pretty balanced field. And Scotty, who'd you go with here in the last race on the card, race 7?
I actually was between the 5 and the 8, but I went with the 5, Rock the Birdhouse, just because I got a feeling Eddie's going to heat up a little bit. This horse run a good race last time. They were 12-2. Greer Crossing was in there. Tapacita beat it. It was one of my best bets 2 weeks ago when we had this show on. So I took Rock the Birdhouse, and then I went with Juliazon, who runs second to Tapacita. There was a little bit of controversy there. There was a little inquiry, I think, for a minute in that race. I think this horse might have got compromised a little bit, but Tapacita was much the best that day. So I took Juliazon in second, and then third I threw in Bethy. Uriel Lopez, he's rode her well. Renier rode her well back here. Runs second to Think Blue. Look at the herd company, a little bit tipsy. Lily's Wolfie, Tapacita, she's going to be live too. So I went 5, 8, 9, and I could see any one of them 3 winning it.
All right. Jim Bro?
I reversed that, and I am 9, 8, 5. Similar there. You said the 8 Juliazon had some trouble. I think the 9 was a little bit involved in that too, and they were a half length off of each other. I just think potentially they could flip that around. I think Bethy is going to get the best of the 8 Juliazon tomorrow, but I have them 1-2. I don't think there's a whole lot of difference between those two. And then you mentioned the 5 Rock the Birdhouse. Took a break off that race, so missed out on the last one where those 3 or the 8 and the 9 ran second and third. It comes back in the spot where it ran a second, and like you said, Eddie potentially starting to heat up. I think this horse will be right there. I love the 5, 8, 9 trifecta as a late play on the card. I think at 10 horse field it might pay a little bit more than you expect, even though those are probably the 3 horses to look at in this race that'll be the betting favorites. But
Nice betting opportunity.
Yeah.
10 horses in here, last race of the day, get even on the get out race.
Decide maybe the pick 7, eh?
Yeah, may decide the slick pick 7 for 40-some thousand plus. So you went, Jim Bro?
9, 8, 5.
9, 8, 5, and I left a 9 out. Obviously, the 9 fits in the race, was right there behind the 8, but I went with the 8 Juliazon myself. Had the trouble trip last time, much improved effort. I mean, I agree with you. Tapacita was probably the best that day, but a much improved effort gets Arietta back. Arietta obviously fit the horse, so I put the 8 on top. Rock the Birdhouse. I like the Eddie Baylon angle. They just hooked up for their win Saturday night. Horse ran well, first time out for Eddie as a trainer with Baylon on there. I like that exact 8-5. And I threw Henri Angel in. And if I remember right, a couple years ago, this horse was claimed for $10,000. I watched her run one time and decided I was going to drop on her the next time, and there was like a 5-way shake, and Frankie got her. So she's worked her way down the ladder over the last few years, but a real nice career, 10 out of 46. 133,000, a street boss for Sachi Pegasus, mare bred in Florida. So a nice little game type mare, and she really closed some ground up last time. So I like her. Pick up the pieces. 3rd, 8, 5, 2 for Big Jim, Little Jim.
9, 8, 5.
9, 8, 5. Scotty Becker.
5, 8, 9.
5, 8, 9. Alex, that concludes our handicapping podcast. Are there any comments, questions, concerns out there?
Kerry just said, thanks, guys. Enjoy all your insights and safe races to all tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Kerry.
And thank you, Kerry. Remember to tune in to Social Network to see if we're running tomorrow. And thanks to all of us. Heather came in big today, huh?
Yeah.
Heather Iron coming in big with 2 or 3 comments.
Hopefully,
Nicely
I'm
done.
still her fan favorite after tomorrow.
That's
Oh,
put
yeah.
us in the hot seat with anything.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for that. I've been waiting for something to come across there that might just kind of, come out of left field, but it has not yet.
All right. Well, thank you. We appreciate it. See you here next week. Good luck tomorrow. Happy racing. Happy gambling.